This may happen in your house a lot. It does in mine. An older brother or sister and a younger one squabbling, making fun, even fighting. But when does such behavior become bullying? New research shows it's quite common, actually, and that sibling bullies can be as harmful as the schoolyard variety. Here with more on that is psychologist Dr. Jen Hartstein and Amy McCready, the founder of Positive Parenting Solutions and author of If I Have to Tell You One More Time. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Jen, let me start with you. This is the first major study on this, right?
Yes.
How important is it?
This is really an amazing study. This isn't something we've really talked about before. And the numbers are pretty astounding, right? They interviewed from 1 to 17-year-old children, and 3,500 of them, and a third of them reported some episode of bullying between the siblings.
That's a really distressing number, a third.
That's 1,300 kids.
Wow.
So this is really important and groundbreaking study for us to start to think about and talk about and really figure out what we can do better as adults in their lives, as the parents in their lives, and all of that.
Amy, I need someone to define bullying, because I think so many parents think this is the natural part of growing up, but you think there's really a line in the sand.
Well, all families have sibling squabbles, right? But when there's an imbalance of power, when one is physically stronger, and there's also an intent to harm. So there's an intent to harm the child physically or emotionally or take their stuff. And also, it's not a every once in a while thing. It's repeated and persistent. Those would be some of the red flags for really bullying rather than just sibling squabbles.
This is tricky because I know I see this in my house all the time. I have a 17-year-old and a 13-year-old, and there's a lot of back and forth sort of, Punch and Judy kind of stuff that I call it. Right. And sometimes lines do get crossed and one gets upset. I don't necessarily think of it as bullying, but I can see that sometimes somebody gets effectively hurt.
Right. Well, and that's going to happen in a fight, right? I mean,
right.
we are going to have disagreements. We're going to have challenges. We're going to fight. Kids are going to fight. Sometimes you're just going to do something that's going to really irritate the other person, and you get off on it a little bit. We all do that at different parts in relationships. But as Amy said, it's when it goes that step too far. So if one of your children just keeps pushing, when it's very clear that it needs to stop, and does it all the time, then we have to start to really wonder, like, what's going on.
Then that's when the parent has to come in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
No parent wants to admit that they could be part of the problem. But it sounds like parents can unknowingly be fanning this flame.
Yeah, and there are some things that we do and don't even realize it. Sometimes parents will subtly play favorites by comparing one to another. Often we label kids, and labels, positive or negative, are going to create competition because if you're the smart one or the athletic one, I'm by default the opposite. So when we do those types of things, it really does kind of create that rivalry and competition. Also, encouraging competition in the family, like let's see who can get upstairs and get undressed the fastest.
Right.
Those little games that we play create a winner and loser.
Right.
So if you see a problem or what you think may be a problem developing here, what do you do?
Well, I think the first thing we have to do is parents have to be willing to step in, right? They have to be willing to recognize that there is a problem. That's often part of the struggle. And they have to be willing to say, hey guys, let's talk about what's going on. We have to figure out how to teach our kids to say, like, this is not okay, and walk away, even if the other one's going to follow them. Like, is there a safe word? Is there a safe place for them to go? Is there a way that they can go to the parent and say, hey mom, like, this is a problem, what do I do about it? And for parents to hear that and not ignore them. I think we often go, this is just normal sibling stuff, like what's the big deal? But if your child is coming to you and saying, this is not making me feel good, we have to listen to that, and we really have to respond to it.
All right, Amy McCready, Jen Hartstein, thank you both for being here this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.